Good morning. We are finally here in Washington, D.C., right outside C-SPAN, where we are going to tour with the founder, Brian Lamb. On our C-SPAN tour, we not only caught a glimpse of what it's like working behind the scenes, but we also got to sit in the very chair where the channel airs Washington Journal. During Washington Journal, the host will take phone calls and give voices to all sides of the political spectrum. We are also able to hear from the C-SPAN hiring team, learning what it takes to work for one of America's most respected news networks.
We talked to, people in HR, and they sort of gave us, really, really honest advice to fine tune our professional development if we ever want to work in DC or even with them.
The second day was full of postage stamps and NBC Universal. While we are not able to take pictures or videos on the tour inside NBC due to their no camera policy, they did allow us to take some pictures before and after. We are also lucky enough to meet Andrea Mitchell right before filming. As someone who wants to work in the news industry, it was cool seeing where all the magic happens.
I've gotten a lot of unexpected information. I even found myself considering a reporting job when we were talking yesterday to Scott Wang about everything, and he was saying oh, you can be in the field and you'd be in unexpected places. So hearing that was a very eye-opening experience to me. So I've really enjoyed everything, and I've gotten so much unexpected information and different considerations for different jobs and careers I've never seen myself in.
After our NBC tour, we headed over to the Smithsonian National Postal Museum, where we learned about the United States' extensive postal history. Not only did we see cool stamps, but we talked to museum staff about what it is like to work for the Smithsonian. On Capitol Hill, we heard from a variety of guest speakers, such as Congresswoman Erin Houchin and Congressman Frank Mervan. We heard about their individual experiences as well as career advice.
Personally, I think talking to Todd Young had to be my favorite, just because when I asked him how he felt about being in such a controversial time in politics, I felt I related to him a lot with when he said he wanted to be in the action, and I felt like he really enjoys what he does based on everything happening in the world, and I feel like that's something I really also want to do, is be involved in something, especially right now where so many things happening.
To me, the most impactful part of the day was just sitting through the Senate hearing, because it's such a mundane day-to-day part of their job, and it was cool to see how they gather information.
Hello, today is day 4 of BGDC, and we got to get a special tour of the Secret Service. We heard from many inspiring agents, and actually the Secret Service director stopped by to talk to us what it's like working here. We started out at the Secret Service tour by walking through the mini museum detailing the agency's history. We then heard from Secret Service workers and gained their perspective. We had a surprise guest stop by our tour, the now former director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle. She was the first woman to lead the agency. She resigned a few months later following the assassination attempt on former President Trump.
First off, it's a person to serve. Though we're not military, we do serve our country, and people who are willing to serve their country and are willing to work hard, long hours, but it's a very rewarding career. At the end of the day, when you go home, you feel like you accomplished something, no matter how easy or hard your day was.
Hello, we are on the last official day of week 1, so it is Friday, and we start our day off with class and hearing from a couple of guest speakers, including the man who made the sculpture of Neil Armstrong. And then we went to the National Presidential Portrait Gallery, which was really cool to see the different portraits of all the presidents. And then after that, we went to the FBI headquarters, which, fun fact, they have a gift shop. And currently we are in the National Press Club, where we just had an amazing dinner at the taco bar. Between listening to artist Chaz Fagan talk about his famous works and exploring the National Portrait Gallery with Brian Lamb, Friday was beyond educational. We also visited the FBI headquarters, where we learned what it's like to work for the highest-ranking law enforcement agency in the United States. We also found yet another Boilermaker connection with an alum that works there. One of the most memorable parts of the entire trip was when I was able to go on a sunrise walk with Purdue alum and C-SPAN founder Brian Lamb. We also volunteered at the DC Central Kitchen. I got to rock a hairnet and hang out with my new friends from the program.
When I was in school, we didn't have anything like this. And when I landed here in Washington, when I was in the Navy, I didn't know anything about the place. And if you're interested in politics and government and how it works, it's just a great idea to come here in your early years and begin the process of learning how it operates.
Starting off our second week strong, we toured the U.S. Capitol building. It was cool seeing where Congress meets to write the laws of our nation. After the initial tour, we sat in both the House and Senate chambers.
Another thing I really enjoyed was just seeing the Senate and the House galleries, just because there's so much history that's being made there every day. So just seeing that is really cool.
This is the second week of BGDC. It is currently Tuesday, and we are about to go into the Department of Labor. So we are going to experience what it's like to work in one of the U.S.'s most influential departments. At the Department of Labor, we heard from representatives from the Office of the Solicitor National Divisions, such as the Division of Civil Rights Labor Management and the Division of Mine Safety and Health. They told us what is needed to carry out national labor laws. Hello, today we just toured outside of CNN. It is Wednesday on the second week of BGDC, and it was really cool seeing the inner workings of CNN, seeing all of the control panels and just how things operate, and I cannot wait to possibly work here in the future.
I think it was really impactful just to see all the work that goes into productions like this and how people are so dedicated to getting the story right when they're communicating to the public about certain political topics, all the writing that goes into it, and just the education that people have in this job. You really can, get a job in really whatever you're interested in.
We kicked off our second to last day by learning about Black history with Professor Edna Green Medford of Howard University. She specializes in 19th century African American history. She was also a guest of Brian Lamb at Purdue in 2023. In the afternoon, we toured the National Museum of the African American History and Culture. On the last day of BGDC, we gave presentations on the material that we learned. We also did some last-minute exploring.
So really, everyone you talk to makes a huge difference, and BGDC sort of prepared me for that and helped me realize that. Because when I was paired up with my mentor, she knew a ton of people who came to that mentor dinner, and she knew so many of them, even though they weren't working in the same field. So it really it makes a huge difference in preparing you for what life in Washington is really like.
Just do it. I almost didn't apply because I was like, I don't know. I didn't know if I had a professor that I was close enough to get a letter of recommendation. I was like, I don't know if I want to be gone, for 2 weeks from home. But it was so worth it. It was such a great experience, and I plan on coming back for an internship. So it was a great just 2 weeks to get myself acclimated before hopefully coming back within the next few years.
I would say definitely do it. It is a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. You're gonna meet so many wonderful people and gain so much advice that I would not trade it for the world. I would not trade this experience for the world. I loved meeting every single person, not only all the mentors and the career people, but also every person on this trip. They're all my friends now, and I think I will cherish every one of them for the rest of my life.